Yo, finally it's about time that I'm gonna drop the engine back in the RX7. I know it's been a minute since I posted a video. I mean, the last video you guys saw was the last video that I posted was me fixing that intake air temp sensor, and there it is, all fixed and hooked up. But yeah, now the next major thing is to finally slap this thing on. Look, it's looking all complete. I simplified it a lot by getting rid of a whole bunch of vacuums and stuff. It looks pretty, it looks much simpler than what it used to. I mean, it still looks pretty complicated, but it's way simpler than what it was for sure. But yeah, I'm just about ready. I already pressure washed it, and now I'm just about ready to slap it in. I think today's goal for me is to just get it mounted on there. Just get the engine mounts and get it mated to the transmission. I think that's a pretty good goal for me today. And then throughout the week, like after work, throughout the week, I could just put on the rest of the accessories, like the coolant lines, oil lines, connect sensors, and stuff like that. I kind of didn't want to film this because I just wanted to get it done so I could finally just drive this thing, but fuck it, whatever. I should film it so I can keep it on the YouTube records. Let's get to it. Gotta remove this thing off the engine stand and put it on the hoist. Alright, I actually had to pull the bumper off because I wasn't able to push this enough by hand to get the transmission to mate with the motor. I mean, to get the motor mated with the transmission. So I took the bumper off, and now I'm putting in the transmission bolts. It was actually pretty difficult trying to get these two to mate. I almost went to Harbor Freight and got one of those engine alignment things, the ones where you crank on the hoist so it can like level it right. But I was like, let me try one more thing, and I removed the bumper, and that was good enough. So now I'm just cranking on these bolts, cranking on these trans bolts. It's officially in. It took me a minute, but it's in there. Sheesh. This lighting doesn't do justice, but it looks good in there. I'm excited to finally turn this thing on sometime soon. Hopefully midweek this week. We'll just have to see. Alright boys, I'm done for the day. It's finally hard mounted onto the chassis and the transmission. But I'm gonna clean up. I got a little bit of a mess right here. But I'm gonna clean up, and then yeah, I'll continue wrenching tomorrow. Tomorrow's chore day, so I'm gonna just wrench a little bit tomorrow, but the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, I'm gonna be wrenching little by little, so should be running soon. Alright, yeah, yesterday I put this engine back in, and you know how I was talking about that sensor, the intake air temp sensor? Well, when I was pushing it in to get the transmission to mate up with the engine, that sensor ended up breaking again because I like nudged it pretty hard. So that just goes to show you guys that that sensor is prone to breaking pretty easily. Luckily I have that other one that I had repaired also from that spare motor that I had, so I'm just gonna swap them out. AC, this thing is gonna be luxurious, hella luxurious going on AC. Power steering, even more luxurious. God damn, I don't even know how to act. I did rebuild the power steering pump because it was leaking. Alright y'all, every second I'm getting closer and closer to finishing this up. So I got the fuel lines in, the connectors are in, the AC and power steering is in, the headers are in, the exhaust manifold. So actually, now that I was snaking the oil cooler lines through the bottom right here, I had to dismount the oil cooler. And when I was dismounting the oil cooler bracket studs broke. What up, bitch? It was getting so smooth, but basically it goes right here. Let's see if I can show you guys right here. So this mounts right here with this bracket. You can kind of get an idea on this side right there, but these studs broke on me. So now what I'm gonna do, I've been breaking so many studs on this thing, so many nuts and bolts on this thing. It's just because it's old hardware and they're hella rusty. So what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna try to drill this thing. I'm gonna try to drill it through and then put a put a bolt through it like this, boom, like through that hole, and then tack it. Same on this side. Hoping this works. Otherwise I'm gonna have to order another one of these brackets, which will take like a week, and I don't want to wait that long because I'm hoping to get this done this weekend. It's a 3-day weekend this weekend, and yeah, I'm just so close. I'm not gonna let this bracket stop me. Bit is cooked. Alright y'all, so I ended up punching out. So first I drilled it out partially, and then that one stud that broke, and then I ended up punching the rest out with this thing. So I went right on the edge. Let me see if I can show you guys. I didn't take this one out because this one was a bitch, but I was able to take this one out. I'm just gonna leave it like that as a screw, but pretty much I went like this with this and the hammer, boom, 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 on this one until it came out. And then I bent it open, put the screw in, and then bent it back. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this up and then show you guys what I mean. Hopefully this works. I bolted it back up. So these two were the studs that broke. See how this one's missing? I didn't put anything, and this one I put the screw in the nut. And yep. And then this side still has all this hardware, so it's pretty rigid. It's on there pretty good. It doesn't wiggle around and stuff. Alright, so now I'm gonna continue wrenching on this. I'll start filming again once I get real close, but I gotta put the oil lines right there on that nut. I'm getting close. It's officially all bolted up. It's 11:29 right now, and there it is. It's all bolted up. All the hoses, all the oil lines, everything. The air box. Last thing that I need to do before I crank it to prime some oil through the system is I have to connect the ECU. So tomorrow, yeah, I'm not gonna do it now because it's late. It's like I said, 11:29, and if I crank it, it's just gonna be loud. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow so I don't upset the neighbors, so the neighbors still love me. Yeah, I actually have the spark plugs off right now. Let me see if I can show you guys. So spark plugs go right here. Boom and boom. I actually have those off, so tomorrow when I go to crank, it's easier for the engine to rotate. And it can prime oil through the system. I'm gonna somehow disconnect like the fuel pump relay and stuff. an ignition just so it can just crank without starting or nothing, or fuel or anything, so I could just get oil through the system. And then once I see pressure on the gauge, I'm gonna go ahead and see if it starts. For tonight, I'm done. It's late and I'm tired. I've been wrenching on that thing since the morning. I got a lot done today though, but I'm gonna start it up tomorrow, hopefully. Tomorrow, which will be Sunday, and then maybe I can cruise around town, make sure there's no leaks, and then cruise around town on Monday, which I have a day off because it's Labor Day weekend. And then if there's no leaks or nothing, then I'll drive it to work and stuff to break the engine in, and we should be Gucci. We'll see if this thing starts tomorrow. Right now, I'm gonna just go ahead and crank it, get oil in the system. So let's see what happens. Damn. Looks like the battery's dead. The battery's dead, so I didn't get to crank it. Damn. Alright, let me go ahead and take this to Vato Zone, get this battery charged. I got the battery charged. Now I'm about to crank it. It's your boy, Mr. Sabas in the house. Chill. Alright, let's see if we're able to build oil pressure. They weren't able to charge it fully, so we'll see what happens. ¿Qué pasa? Fuck.
It's not strong enough?
No, it's not charged enough. Well, fellas, that was another fail.
Wait. How much charge did they tell you it had?
It was weak. They didn't tell me percent. Alright, so Abbas suggested I put a jump pack.
Just to try, just to hear it.
Let's see, it's not gonna be enough juice, but just to crank a wee bit. Oh damn, the clutch fell to the floor. Did I lose clutch fluid? Yeah. It gets stuck though. No. Oh yeah, that wasn't there. Yeah, that is clutch fluid. It smells like it too. It's because I left the transmission hanging on the clutch line. Alright, as you guys saw when I was here with Sabas cranking the engine, actually the clutch slave cylinder rod popped out of the clutch slave cylinder, which pushed the seals out, which means I lost pressure in the clutch pedal. So I had to yeah, the reason why that happened, I think is because when I pulled the engine, I left the transmission hanging, and it was actually hanging on the slave master line. So I'm sure something like that had to play a role in it, because it was working just fine before. So I ordered the parts from Mazda Tricks. I actually ended up just ordering the slave cylinder, the master cylinder, and the line. Just so I don't have to worry about that. But I think for now, what I'm gonna do, well, right now I'm actually charging my battery. I took it to AutoZone to get it charged, but I have a feeling they didn't put it to charge, or if they did, they put it on late, and then when I came to pick it up, they just handed it to me. I asked them to test it, and they did test it, but it showed that it was weak. But the battery was working just fine before I did this whole pulling the engine and putting it in. So I think they just didn't charge it right. So I have this trickle charger going on it. It's gonna take like probably 6 hours or something long like that. There's no way this thing will charge up in an hour or two, especially since it's at 25%. So what I'm hoping to do right now is I just want to see if I'm able to build up oil pressure. So I'm gonna bypass the clutch switch. I'm gonna go under the steering column and bypass the clutch switch, so I can just leave the car in neutral without pressing on the clutch, and then I can just crank it. That way I don't have to worry about the whole slave cylinder situation that happened. So I can just crank it with a charged up battery and see if I can build up oil pressure. That is my main concern. Because from the first crank that we did, the first, like, I don't know, it was 5-10 seconds, the compression sounded healthy. Like the compression through the spark plug holes, it was like, which sounded pretty healthy. So alright y'all, look, I made this bypass switch right here. Let me show you guys where it goes. So I actually have like quite a few of these spades, luckily, and then I have wire. So I just made this like jumper wire to be able to go right here to jump these two. And then that should bypass the clutch and I won't have to press the clutch anymore. It pretty much bypasses this switch right here. So you follow the wire and it leads to that connector. So I'm gonna put a bit of insulation on the exposed area. Alright, yeah, this is how the wire is looking now. Just as exposed spades so I can jumper it. Now let's get back down here. You guys probably can't see anything, but I'm gonna connect it and then show you guys. And there it is, look. So this connector went to this wire, but I disconnected it and then put my jumper right there. And that should be good. Now I just need to wait for that battery to charge up. Just for reference, it's been over an hour now and it's still at 25%. So I'm gonna check back on it in like 2 hours. And if it's not above 25%, then the battery's probably shot and I'm gonna just go ahead and buy a new one. Yeah, we're so close. So close. Been overnight, so more than 8 hours, and it did charge to 100%. So let's see what happens. Maybe it was just a fuck up on Vato Zone where they didn't charge it, or they maybe didn't put it under the AGM charge because it's kind of hidden, like it's small. So maybe they didn't pay attention to that and they put it on the normal 12-volt battery, which would be this one, but really it should be the AGM. Alright, now that I have that bypass switch on the clutch, I just need to make sure that the car is in neutral, because I don't have the clutch in anymore right now. Alright, fingers crossed. Let me let the starter cool down a bit, but the pressure was building up. Woo! I don't know if you guys heard that, but we got oil pressure, which is good, but the battery started dying out again. So now that I know that the system has oil pressure, like I was able to go up to 60 psi during just cranking, which is really good. That means on idle it's gonna be even higher. So I'm just gonna let the system sit like that now for now, and I'm gonna recharge the battery while I go get some lunch and stuff. Alright y'all, it's hot as shit, probably like 90 something degrees right now, but at least I got shade. 90 something degrees under shade and a little bit of airflow. Alright, so as you guys saw, I was able to build up oil pressure by cranking. So now before I start it, because I know it's gonna shoot out a gang of oil, because I put a lot of oil on the side seals and apex seals. I put Vaseline. Yeah, I put Vaseline on them to keep them on and from moving when I was installing. But now I'm gonna go ahead and put a catch can on this nipple right here, which is the oil fill breather. This is where you pour the oil in, and since I have a feeling it's gonna be shooting a lot of oil, I want to make sure I put a catch can on that thing. So I got the Amazon special. I'm not gonna film me installing it, but pretty much I'm gonna install it, and then after that I'm gonna put some old spark plugs in, the spark plugs from my old engine, these here, because I have a feeling that since it's gonna be caked with oil and it's gonna have it might have difficulty starting over for its first time ever, I think the spark plugs are gonna foul. So I don't want to put the new plugs that I got, which are here, and then end up fouling them and then have to buy more spark plugs, because it's like $50 total or something like that, or just be like throwing spark plugs in the trash. So I think the next thing I'm gonna film is when I actually go ahead and try to start it. I installed the catch can, I installed the old spark plugs, I connected the camshaft angle sensor, the fuel pump relay. So now let's see if this thing starts. Well, it started, but the idle's rough, so I gotta figure something out. I'm gonna just open up the idle fully, see if it'll hold idle. All right, y'all, so I opened up the idle fully. Let's see if it'll stay on. Alright, well, it won't turn back on. So I've heard that that when for the initial startups, when it's a fresh rebuild, it'll start up good like the first time, and then for the next startup, it's probably gonna take like 30 minutes to let things cool down and then to start it back up. So that's just how these rotaries act when it's a fresh rebuild. So let's see, I'm gonna wait a bit. At least it was able to run and hold oil pressure for a bit. So I can at least see if there's leaks. All right, y'all, so as you guys saw after me trying to start it for a few times, the reason why I actually shut off is probably because of the oil that's on the plugs. So this is what I meant by fouling the plugs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull all the spark plugs, clean them all up, put them back in. By that time, it also gives the engine time to cool down so I can retry again. And while all that is being done, the battery is actually being charged. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm probably not gonna film again until I get this thing fully started, just to get it over with before it starts getting too late, because you guys probably didn't see, but it was smoking hella crazy because of all the oil in the combustion chamber and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to it, boys. All right, check it out. So since the car dies when when I start it, and if I don't keep my foot on the throttle, the car ends up dying. It could be for a few reasons. It could be because I didn't adjust my throttle opening all the way to let the idle be higher, or it could be timing related, the camshaft angle sensor, that I don't have it adjusted right. So every time I start the car from the inside of the car, I rush over here on the outside to try to adjust some things, but then it ends up dying and then I can't start it. So I ended up getting this remote start switch from your local friendly neighborhood Harbor Freight. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set this up so I can just start it from here and then adjust what I need to. Like, I can keep it alive by giving some throttle, and then I can adjust what I need to quickly from right here. So yeah, this thing is pretty easy. So you just put the car on the on position, make sure it's in neutral so it doesn't roll forward, because it could be pretty dangerous if it's in gear. And I go to start it, it'll actually push the car, boom, probably hit the wall. So need to be 100% sure it's in neutral. This goes to the starter, one of these wires goes to the starter switch, and then one to the positive terminal of the battery. It doesn't matter which one, because it completes a circuit when you press the button. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up, and then let's see if I can maintain this idle. Look, y'all, I know it's kind of a mess, but I just have one end on the probe here and here, and so when you press the button, so that's pretty much it. It's literally just a switch to the starter. Like, I don't even need that tool. Like, if I really wanted to, I could just get a wire from the starter and just go but that's sketch, because then it would be live, and if I drop that wire somewhere, like I short it or something, it's just too sketch. So it's just safer with this switch here. All right, y'all, let me show you. So right now I have it wired up. I'm only gonna hit it once real quick, just to show you guys, because I don't want to drain the battery. But so look, as soon as I hit it, see how it cranks over. So now let's see if I can maintain this thing to idle. I'm gonna loosen the camshaft angle sensor so I can adjust that if I need to. All right, it's on the on position. Let's see what happens. Damn. Well, I couldn't get it to start, but you guys get the idea. So I'm gonna take out the plugs again and clean them up and keep doing that quite a few times until it finally starts. Next clip that I'm gonna film is probably gonna be when it's actually idling. So I'm gonna wrench a bit and see what happens. Alright, y'all, check it out. I finally got it to idle on its own. I had to adjust a few things. I had to adjust the idle sensor here, which is the TPS adjustment, and no, I just had that opens up the throttle, which helps it idle, and here it is. Alright, I'm gonna go for a bit, I'm gonna clean all this mess up and then go for a test drive. Alright, y'all, there it is, it's done. So now I just have to do the little things like adjust the timing and stuff, because I just pretty much put it like top dead center baseline and slipped in the camshaft angle sensor. So I'll have to actually get a timing gun and check that out, but it's running, it's idling on its own. no leaks so far, and I drove it, let's see. So far I driven it 5 miles, but oil pressure is good, temps are good, battery voltage is good. I mean, the idle is a bit high, but and it's a little jumpy, but that could be due to the timing stuff. So there's still some stuff that I have to check around. It's a brand new clutch and everything, so all that is like good. I mean, it drives like a normal car. The only thing that would suck right now is if I turn it off or if I stall it, it won't start back up because it's a fresh rebuild. But after the apex seals and the side seals all break in and everything's loosen up and they form around the housings and all that and the plates, and then it'll be able to start. That's just a rotary thing from what I've read. And yeah, I've been getting the same symptoms from what I've been reading, so I believe it. I think it's pretty much good. But yeah, let's see how this thing breaks in. This is just so I can get my feet wet with rebuilding rotaries. That way, hopefully, I don't know if I'm that into it yet, but hopefully I'll start rebuilding blown up rotaries and then sell them for a little side money. But I'll see how I feel. It's just a thought. I'll see how I actually feel. Now I just can't stall it or I'm gonna get stranded. I'm gonna get stranded, or I'm gonna have to let the car sit for 2 to 3 hours to cool down before it can start back up on its own, or I can put oil through the spark plug holes to get it to fire up. But yeah, look, this is my POV. It's pretty much like a normal car. It's other than the blah 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 blah. I know for you guys this was probably like a 20-minute video or something like that, but for me this was like a month process to pull the engine out, take off all the accessories from the blown up engine, put it on this new rebuilt one that I did, clean everything, paint everything, put it back on, get it to idle. For you guys it was like boom boom, all quick and stuff, and then but for me it was a month, and I was working on it every weekend and every weekday. So after work I would do my regular workout, eat, and then wrench on this thing till pretty much bedtime. Same thing Monday, same thing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, and then I would work on it all day, Saturday, Sunday. The struggle's real, boys, but it was worth it. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears that I wish you guys could see all the stress and stuff. Like every pulley, sand it, spray it. That's just one pulley. Finding, because there's a lot of strip nuts and bolts on this thing. So finding the right thread, the right length bolt, and then putting it on. All the little stuff that I didn't show. It was a pain in the ass, but here we are. All done. Now imagine. On a naturally aspirated 140 horsepower. I can't wait to turbo this thing. All right, boys. Peace.